David sounds like he's underwater. I'm using a normal microphone. I'll put the microphone a little closer to me. Hello. Basically, we just released 6.1, so try it out. I think it should be better for the majority of people in the majority of images, but it's possible that, it's every time we change something, there's some corner of the universe that's worse, and it's hard to change anything without affecting something in a slightly negative way. But I think on the whole, it's a pretty good release. The images look quite a bit sharper. There things to be quite a bit more coherent. Text is a lot better. A lot of things are working quite well. And then I think the upscalers are much, much better now. Like I would have never used I kind of hated the 6.0 upscalers. But now I like the 6.1 upscalers. So I think the upscalers are quite good now. I personally try to use the upscale subtle almost all the time. But sometimes the creative one is good for fixing something that's broken in the image. So give that a shot. Um, yeah, there's definitely we've been using a lot of user data to improve 6.1, and so use uh, whenever we use user data, it adds some biases to the system. So we're looking more at reducing, using people's votes while reducing the biases in the future. And so I think we're hoping that there'll be a 6.2 release where we balance things out and use more user data, and it should be better still. So hopefully there'll be let's say 6.2 in tentatively about a month, and I think it'll be a lot better. Um, and so that'll probably be the last version of 6 series, unless we do like a small depth control net release. And then we're pretty much all focused on 7.0, I think, from then on. 7.0 is moving further along. We're getting sort of progress on all fronts related to it. 7.0 should have better aesthetics, it should be faster, and it should be much smarter in terms of the way its prompts. It should know a lot about things. It should know a lot about a lot more things too, like more knowledge, better understanding of words. Probably will draw words a lot better too. It'll be much faster. Should have better aesthetics. So a lot of big improvements for V7. V7 is probably a bit further out still. Though the 6.2 release is still relevant. But a lot of the things that we're doing for 6.1 and 6.2 are in some ways shipping parts of V7 earlier rather than later. So like some of the image quality improvements for V7 are basically part of what makes 6.1 better, but it should be more better for V7. So yep. And what else is going on? 3D is coming along. Trying to put more people on our video stuff again. A lot of secret projects. Possible we'll show off the first storytelling stuff sooner rather than later. I don't want to say a specific date, but probably this year. They might even let everybody use it. So there might be like a storytelling tool that we come out with this year that is looking pretty cool. I'm excited about that. We're looking at improving the describe on the web, like making a describe tool on the website or improving the describe flow better. We're going to have a new describe with V7 also. Let's see. I'm gonna add an editor, so we'll combine reframe and repaint with sort of like a single nice thing. There's a small chance that we'll even support something that looks like a zoom in function, like if you crop the image and then we might like start a subtle upscale kind of thing on that area automatically. Mhm. Yeah. Seems like people like different upscalers in different situations. That's fine. You can use whichever one you like. They're different for a reason. Probably depends on the type of image. So, whereas other dedicated upscale projects have like 300 sliders and you have to do it 50 times, you just push both buttons once and one of them should work for us. So hopefully it's quite a bit easier. Um, the new upscalers are only for 6.1 right now. We could probably make them run for 6.0 images, but I'm not really sure how to do that in a way without blowing up the old upscalers. People be like, oh, but now I need multiple upscaler control. And then it gets into this huge more drop down menus type of thing. So if there is any way for us to do this without having to sort of infinitely flexify the project, I would do it. But I'm not sure. Um, Interesting. It's a shame the chat is kind of broken too. It sounds like people are saying. I don't know. Hopefully it's better for everyone soon. Very laggy chat. Okay.
Yeah, I tried to write something and I can't see it moving at all.
Hmm. I'll let that Discord know. I don't know what to say. Sorry about that. Probably not doing a Niji 6.1. We might do a 6.1 in Painter for like the zooming and stuff, but I'm not sure. There's like gonna be one test there. Just not clear if we should work on 6.0 forever or actually start working on the other things. So we'll see. We could definitely do a higher resolution too, but I'm not totally sure if we should work on those features instead of V7. So I think we're probably gonna try to push more towards the V7 in the video and the 3D rather than infinite number of features for 6.0, unless the 6.0 features are specifically things that are going to work for the new things. Um, yeah, at this point, the Niji team feels like video is more important than better anime. They feel like the current anime is pretty good and would not be significantly better by updating it slightly. Um, Obviously, the V7 will probably be a bigger improvement for the Niji side, but then we might merge the models, so there might be like a Niji mode of the V7. Unclear. Yeah, we have like one specific thing we're going to try doing to get the 6.1 zoom in painting working. It's interesting that that doesn't involve that much work, so we'll probably try to do that this week, and if it works, we'll ship it. If it doesn't, I'm not sure if we'll spend a longer period of time to get the more complicated one working. Um, and I think that's mainly it. Let's go to some lightning round questions. So if you have any questions, type some questions in the VC text channel, and we'll just answer questions for a little bit. Um, yeah, I mean, we've looked at doing sharing features. I'm not totally sure how to prioritize like the sharing features and organizational features over other things. I would say that like only 1% of people use folders right now, so with like 1% of users using the folders, it doesn't motivate us a lot to spend a lot of time on the folders, though I know that they could be better. Um, we've definitely thought about doing an extreme slow mode, but I think it's a lower priority right now versus um V7 things. I think the personalization code uses everything. I don't know if likes should be affecting personalization, but maybe it breaks every once in a while. I don't think we're going to be doing more nudity in V7. 6.1 is partially to gather more data for 6.2. Yep. Yeah, I mean, I think I still enjoy using Midjourney, and it kind of surprises me still. You can't mix old personalization codes with new personalization codes before 6.1. You can't do 6.0 personalization codes with 6.1 ones. You have to mix the newer ones with the older ones. You have to mix the new ones with the new ones, with the old ones with the old ones. The new personalization model should be more nuanced and smarter, but it should be like slightly more surprising. Like it should have more occasional interesting surprises. 6.1 is already on the website. I think just watching people use 6.1 will generally let us gather more data. So we think in a week or two we'll have enough data to help start training 6.2s. I'm not sure if we can easily see how many people are using Discord channels as organizational systems, but we could try to look into that. I don't really want to advertise folders, but yeah, not looking at doing any APIs right now. I don't know if we're going to specifically do a Niji video or more of a video thing in general. I don't think we're going to have a specific date around video right now or any of the major model types. To some extent, the website is for new people who are intimidated by Discord more than it's for people who have 100,000 images who want lots of folder control. I mean, to some extent, if you really want folders, it kind of makes sense to just use folders on your own computer or on Google Drive or something. Like, there's a lot of places you can go for folders, and there's not a lot of places you can go for the rest of Midjourney. So it makes sense for us to focus on our unique value before doing stuff that there's other places, other ways to do. There's no explicit sharpening happening in the newer models, but there's always, I think we find that so far every time we release a model, it either is, going to be sometimes too sharp or sometimes too blurry. So 6.1 probably biases a little bit more towards too sharp rather than too blurry. 6.1 definitely is better for like hands in a lot of situations, but for weirder situations it might not be better, but it should get better as we collect more data and move towards 6.2. We haven't updated the image moderation stuff for V6 or V7. I think the upscalers that we have right now are probably the best overall upscalers, but I know that if you want to spend a lot of time and if it's for a very specific type of image, you might find that one upscaler is better than another. But I don't really think it's fair to say that like all the other upscalers have significant problems of their own. So, I think if you really want to find an upscaler that's good for your specific situation, that's great. But we just try to make ones that are generally very good with no fiddling. So yeah, Um, we will do a high resolution at some point for upscalers, but it's not a priority right now. The personalization codes update when you like or do more pair ranking. Yeah, it's hard to tell when, people don't use a feature because it's not good or because nobody cares about it. Obviously, they're pretty similar, right? We do have this. We do have a voting thing on the website where people can vote for features and folders and subfolders are not ranked as high as other things. So I think we're gonna do other things first. Um, yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious to me that 50% that more than 50% of people of everybody who will ever use Midjourney will never use a folder because like most people who use computers don't use folders. But I do understand that for a small number of people, folders are really important. And all I can say for now is, yeah, sorry, we're not doing that. To be fair, there's a small number of people that a lot of features are important for. For example, it's pretty clear that a small number of people think that boobs are important much more than a small number of people care about folders. So if we wanted to just go by what the small number of people want, we would just be focusing on making boobs. So, you know, yeah. Obviously, it's not like a pure democracy, or mob driven, or based off how loud people are. We do think really carefully though, and we do look at the votes people put down, and we do listen to everything. So we are trying our best. Um, I think 6.2 is mostly just looking how people use 6.1 normally. Yeah, I'm not sure if we're gonna put the quality, a lot of things back in for quality stuff. They just use the slash suffix or something. I'm not sure if the quality 2 will be a long-term thing or if we'll just remove it for 6.2 and do something different. I think the quality 2 are pretty. If we thought it was better, we would make it default. So it's definitely not better. It's better for a small number of situations, and it's worse for the rest. It's probably better for 20% of situations and worse for 80%. I like the pixel quality and the lack of sort of weird artifacts in 6.1. There were a lot of artifacts in 6.0 that bothered me a lot. New personalization is pretty good too. I like the upscalers a lot. The reframe you can also do on Discord, with sort of different user interfaces. Um, yeah, the Style Explorer stuff has been a bit delayed. I'm still looking at it, but we don't quite have enough people to work on all the features at once. Do something for it at some point. The personalization check code changes when you do more voting. Yeah, tile does work better in 6.1. I forgot to put on the notes, but also think that upscaler also works with tile now, which it didn't before. Sorry, my chat jumped around and lost. I don't think it Q2 is just about having more detail or not. I think sometimes it really depends a lot on the specific prompt. I think we're not exactly sure what the batch size will be for V7. I think ideally we just make it faster and then you can choose a bigger or smaller batch. Yeah, sorry, we're not. Tim is going to make it easy on everyone. It's not a discussion. We're not investing in more organization features right now. There are clearly higher priority features. Yeah, sorry. Just maybe sometimes it's easier not to have the discussion. Uh, 5 more questions. We were gonna add the backwards compatibility for the sort of the extra like preferred commands. But I think there's some questions around like what that should look like more long term and things like that. Um, the new explore page improvements are very behind schedule, unfortunately. We had a lot of infrastructure break on some people are working on fixing some broken infrastructure. Happy for all people who are excited. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a good release. It seems like the majority of people like it. So I feel good about it. I'm enjoying using Midjourney more now than I was before. So to me, that's a win. Mm. Okay, that seems to be the questions. I guess we could take some people up on the stage if anybody wants to come up on the stage and ask questions, but talk via voice.